Hello, friends.
Oh my god.
It's time for the show.
Is this happening?
With your favorite co-hosts.
It is.
Eric and Nicole.
Could be worse.
We got all you need from pop culture to what's on TV.
Or
we
not.
cover everyday life, Long Island Strong, North Shore, South Shore, all week long.
Please stop.
So let's get started, friends, because us two got a lot to say.
You do?
We're gonna make you laugh.
They're laughing.
Put a smile on your face today.
Hello, No, Nicole, I don't do this. It's time for the show. Why are we... No.
You're doing great.
With your good friends... I'm not doing this, Nicole. This is ridiculous. I don't sing. Just start the show. Let's go. Start the show.
Fine.
Hello, Nicole. Hello.
Hello, Eric. Hello, how are you today?
I am doing wonderfully wonderful. I am excited for this show. And, before we jump into it, Nicole, I want to let everyone know, make sure you follow, like, subscribe, wherever you guys are watching from. Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, all of the favorite places where we are creating content for all of you. Make sure that you check it on out. Like, subscribe, like we say, your comments below are always so appreciative, and as well as sharing the show when you make it to the end, or even now before you start it. Maybe you want to have a watch party with your friends or a listening party. Go share it now with anyone or any Facebook groups or anybody that you think would enjoy it. Of course, if you need to know where to find our socials or our schedule, head over to hellofriendspod.com for a list of all of our socials, and more, like our schedule. What about the podcast version, Nicole?
If you are listening to the audio podcast version, please be sure to leave it a 5-star rating, a positive review, and of course, share it with all of your friends. Download it to relatives and friends' phones, especially grandma's phone. I think everybody could do that secretly without grandma knowing. And of course, always listen if you're having a bake-off, if you're having a cook-off. It could be in the background. We could be inciting you to cook amazing things.
We could. I
Yes.
love it. I am excited about this show, Nicole. So I'm going to let you take it away.
Of course. Our friends, we have a very, very special guest today. Some of you may know her from Nailed It. It's weird. I don't consider her any of those things. I consider her a personal friend. I really do, even though we never actually met in person. I look forward to one day meeting her. It is the one, the only, the incredibly amazing Alicia Figliuolo.
Hello, Alicia.
Hi, guys.
Hello, how are you?
I'm living. It's a great Friday. How are you?
It is a wonderfully wonderful day.
It's COVID. My days are very messed up, and I'm in the middle of a move. So everything is kind of like a Friday for me. I know that's weird, but when you're in the military, the days that just kind of bleed together, you just treat them like Fridays.
How has this COVID quarantine time been treating you? What have you been up to?
That's kind of a loaded question. And for sake of honesty and authenticity, that I have been all across my socials throughout this time, it's been really difficult. I currently live in a state where the mask mandate was kind of not as followed. And so it was scary to be out in public. And I also have a lung condition. So for me, I was at home for the first part of COVID for almost 5.5 months without going anywhere except picking up groceries at the grocery store pickup. And then I kind of got into a flow, and I've done a lot of baking. I've done a lot of just soul searching and learning a lot about who Alicia is going into the next 5 years of my life. And I recently turned 35. So COVID has just been a good time to really look inside who I am and who I want to be going forward. And it's been really tough, though. My wife is in the military, so we've got that compounded with we can't go anywhere. We haven't seen family for so long. So COVID has just been really stressful. But I've recently been vaccinated, so that is some light at the end of the tunnel. And I feel like I can breathe. And I know that's weird, but I feel like there's a lot more safety around me, and I can go out more and engage with people that I haven't got to see in so long. And I had my first stranger hug just the other day with my wife's new coworker who I got to meet, and she wanted to meet me. And it was just like this really cool kismet moment. And I'm a big hugger, and I got to give her a hug. And that was so awesome. And I forgot what human touch felt like. And so to have
Yeah.
that was just kind of the icing on the cake of there is some light at the end of the tunnel. It'll be slow, but it's better now.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I want to, there's so many topics that you just addressed right there that we want to dabble into. And I want to start with the fact that you've been cooking a lot in quarantine. Obviously, you're always cooking. You're a home chef. You're a wannabe baker. I am none of the above, I should say. What have you been cooking? What's your favorite thing to cook?
So during quarantine, I really got into figuring out different ways you could take cake and make them into fun treats. So I made cake pops and cake bombs, and that was awesome. And then I turned to this idea of making cake sickles, and you like get these silicone molds and you pour chocolate melts in them and let them harden up, and then you smash cake in them with lots of icing. So they're kind of like a cake pop, but in the shape of a popsicle. And then you stick a popsicle stick in it, and then you pull it out, and it's a popsicle, but cake and icing and yummy sprinkles and treats on top of it. So that was a lot of fun. And then I loved it. That was a lot of fun. And then I made a bunch of cupcakes. I made this really cool space and NASA themed cupcake for my wife's coworker's birthday because she was born when the moon landing happened. And I took like 25 cupcakes, layered them in 10 different colors of icing, and then smeared it all together to make it look like a galaxy. And the cupcakes, you pulled them apart, and it was like a perfect amount of icing and cake all together. And it looked beautiful. And we've all seen what I've made before, and sometimes they weren't beautiful, but it was really cool. And then I spent a lot of time in the savory side of the kitchen, making sure that we're still eating healthy, but eating fun food that didn't get boring or become bland since we were in like a continuous time loop of the same day. Groundhog Day. So
one giant day.
One big giant day. And we went into quarantine on a Saturday. So it feels like I just had like a Saturday for 15 months now. But I have cooked a lot of baked items and a lot of savory items. And right now I'm really loving my air fryer, and I'm using it for everything. So I've made a lot of things in the air fryer to include a cupcake.
Interesting. I love my air fryer as well. Now, I feel like, and I hope that this, I hope that, this is said with love, and I hope that this is not going to come off badly, because I want to phrase it like this. I need you to sell me on a cake pop, because we have had this discussion on the show before. Yeah. I physically cannot eat one, because to me, and I've made them before, and I think it's because I made them. I feel like it's just kind of like a mushy cake, or like somebody like mushed up cake with their fingers and put it in your mouth.
Yeah,
and
he views it as someone like wadded up old cake and was like, "Here, eat this."
Yeah. Okay. How can I get over this?
Honestly, I'm not a fan of cake pops, and
we're all on the same page.
I'll make them, but they are extremely time extensive. Why do people spend 8 hours making 24 little balls of cake when I could just cut 24 slices of cake that took me 2 hours to make?
Yeah, make a cake.
I will say that I don't use my hands. I put them in a food processor, and then I put a apple core scoop. I scoop it out with a core. And then I will take a gloved hand and like ball it with the scooper in my gloved hand. And then I plop it out, and then I put icing over it. So my cake pops kind of look a little flat sometimes, but I really enjoy the cake sickle because it's more of a large piece of cake. It also smashed together, but you can make it into slices and then put it down, or you can make it into the smushed up cake. But I totally get what you're saying, because I don't really like them. I think they're extremely expensive and a really big waste of time for a little teeny tiny bite. And no offense to any of the listeners or viewers. I know that cake pops are big for people. I'm right there with Eric.
Yeah, I think it's a texture thing, but this is why, here's the silver lining here. You have me sold on a cake sickle. Now, I need to see what this is all about. Do you have photos of these, do you have pictures of them anywhere on your social media? And did I just give you work if you didn't?
No, in October of last year, I made a bunch for my wife's boss and their office, and they're like brown and orange colored. So just beware, there's some brown ones. But
Okay.
they look great. And then there's some on my Instagram, somewhere in my Twitter feed, but it'll take years to find them in Twitter, but they are on Instagram. And of course, I'll send you one, and I'm about to make some next week. So I could just pop one in the mail.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
can we do that? I want one too.
Can we?
I can do that. I actually have your addresses, so I could put them in the mail. I could send them
I've
to
been
you.
being stalked. No, I'm just,
No,
don't
you
worry.
sent me stuff.
Oh.
I got a random card in my mail months ago, and I was like, "Who is this?" And it was actually you. It came from Eric. I think it's your PO box, so you'd have to check your PO box regularly. But I did get something from you.
I'm the worst PO box checker ever.
Yes.
If you have sweets in it, you have to check the PO box.
I
though.
know.
I think I'm the saddest PO box checker. I go there all the time, and like it'll be empty, and there'll be like old mail from the previous PO box people. So it'll be like mail for Suzanne, mail for Robert, and I was like, oh. But I do have a confession, and you guys are gonna judge me. I've only had a cake pop once, and that was because someone bought it for me at Starbucks. And I'm gonna call out Starbucks for a second. It was stale and not good. So I don't know how I feel about cake pops, because all I envision is that one that I got at Starbucks and it was stale. So I'm just like, like I need to experience a cake sickle or a cake pop to see if I like it fresh.
Yeah, I think that's a big no. And Starbucks probably had it open and it was sitting in the case. I used to be an employee of Starbucks, and
Did
it's
you?
a shame. Yeah. They're actually, when they come right out of the bag, they're actually really good, and they're a little too, I don't like the M word, so I can't say that on any kind of media, but they come out too of the M word. And,
Yeah.
I think that's a little too much, but when they're dry and crumble,
No,
please.
I
Please don't
hate the
say it.
word too. Maybe it's like a female thing. I hate the word too. It makes me feel really skeeved.
There's a few words that I don't like. The L word, that's like the other name for bread. I don't like the M word.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't stand that word either.
That's funny. One day,
Well,
this is
make sure-
this is a whole nother topic, but I'll just shove it in here so we don't have to delve into it. I am very unnerved when people, how can I word it? When people say like, oh, this is so bad. Like they're in a relationship and they're like, oh, call me daddy. I think I don't know. I don't. Yeah, like no, because we were saying the M word, and I feel like that's all like in that realm, and I don't know, that word is really, I don't know,
I get it. It's those words that you're like, you just don't need to assign ownership to. It's just weird.
Right. I was just going to say, I think a fun game could be people should leave in the comments below what they think the L word, the M word. It's be a fun game. You guys can play along. We'll go through and we'll figure out who got it correctly. Now, before we move on, breaking news.
There they are! The cake sickles! They look great!
That's my cake sickles! That was the first ones I had ever made.
Oh, wow. That's impressive. And now, were they a vanilla cake? Were they chocolate? Both?
No, they were pumpkin spice. They were as basic Betty as they could be, and they were pumpkin spice, and the icing that I made to like pack them together was like a cream cheese, and so it kind of tasted like a pumpkin spice latte. It's pretty awesome.
By the way, pumpkin spice is my M word.
Oh no.
Hate pumpkin spice. Love pumpkin. Pumpkin's my favorite. I'm here for pumpkin all day. Love pumpkin muffins and pancakes and puree and pie, but pumpkin spiced things, ugh. I don't know why.
Taste-wise, or do you get a headache? I know my sister doesn't like it because she gets a headache anything pumpkin spice.
I don't like
interesting.
Too perfumey. I don't like perfumey food.
I get that.
I think you'd be surprised that with these cakes, I can totally understand what you're saying, because I get headaches from things that are like too fragrant. It kind of is more like when when you're making a pumpkin pie and you can taste just all the spices coming together with the clove and the cinnamon in the pie, and it tastes more like that. It's not like what you would think like a pumpkin spice latte from any of the big box coffee places would be, but more of a pumpkin pie made in your grandmother's kitchen, more of that flavor and less of the sweet, intense, perfumey stuff. So it's more savory, I think, than it is like super sweet.
I just had a brain baby.
Yeah.
For the springtime, I won't say Easter, because but I'll say springtime because bunnies. You can make carrot-shaped ones that are carrot cake. My favorite with like the cream cheese icing. Woo!
Totally. You know what? I actually could do that. I have a carrot mold, so yeah, I will try it and I will send you a picture. And if it's worthy enough, I'll ship it up. And
oh my god, that'd be incredible.
I'm going to be closer to y'all in July, so I'll wait until July so it doesn't have to deal with the Texas heat, and it'll only take like 24 hours to get to you versus like 36.
Love it.
Or there's a chance we'll be in Texas in July. So
true. We may be there.
That is not the time you want to come to Texas.
Oh, I'm aware. Here's what I just have to say. Hold that thought, Nicole. Here's what I have to say. Things that you the host / producer shouldn't do during the show. Go get your cake pop photo from your Instagram. So normally we do this at the end of the show, but I'm just going to tell everybody right now, they need to be following your Instagram. I'm going to spell it for people. It's ALICIA FIGLIUOLO, and of course we'll put the links below the show. But I was looking for that cake pop. I've now been mesmerized by all the food photos. I'm starving. All I've been doing here is now saying, oh, I want that pasta. That looks delicious. I want that soup. Meatballs in a lettuce wrap? Is that what that is? I don't know, but it looks delicious. So make sure that you go and check out our Instagram, not though if you're hungry.
Or if you're in Texas and you're looking at it, I'll just cook for you. So I'm always free. I've lots of space. But wait, y'all are coming to Texas maybe in July?
I mean, we're not really allowed to talk about it, but maybe.
There's a very important holiday in July, and maybe around that
4th
time.
of July.
Yeah.
I'll still be in Texas around there. I'm going to stalk you. I'm going to find out where you are.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to find you.
I'm sure it will be public knowledge by then. Just right now, we don't think that. Well, we know it is not yet. But
I almost said it. I'm the worst.
We'll tell you after. But Nicole, you can't. There's no guesses that you have as to why Texas is not the place you want to be in July.
Does it get that hot?
Let's just say you're going to be talking about the M word all the time.
No, I don't want to be moist in Texas.
Why did you say it?
Well, considering why we'll be in Texas, I'm looking very forward to the hot weather and lack of clothing and sweatiness of people.
Ew.
Okay. That might not be as bad. I picked it up. Okay. It might be better.
I don't want to see that.
I can't wait. But no, I spent every summer of my life in Texas growing up, from when I was like a little boy until I was about 16 or 17, or whenever I came out as gay and stopped getting invited.
In true Texas summer fashion, have you ever done the Schlitterbahn?
Yep.
Yes.
Whoa, hold on. Whoa. We're upset about the M word, but now we're saying the Schlither bomb. I need to know what this is.
Schlitterbahn.
Schlitter. Yeah, it's the number one outdoor water park in the country. It's amazing. And the first one ever built is in the town I currently live in New Braunfels. And then there's one in Corpus Christi on the Gulf. And then I believe there's one in Bronson, Missouri now. But it is by far the best water park you will ever ever go to. When in Texas, you have to take her to Schlitterbahn, Eric. It's a must.
I want to go.
I have a feeling you live exactly where I would be. Because I know I'm not going to say anymore because there are crazy people on the internet. But
and if Eric's going to be there, I'm going to be there because wherever he goes, I go.
No.
We're going to travel together.
No.
Yes.
No. You can sort this out for us. We're like a married couple that, one of the married couple.
Like us. I love it. But you'll love it, Nicole. You will be very hot. The M word will be very real, but you just get yourself a margarita, you get yourself a towel, and you just shower 2 or 3 times a day, and don't plan on wearing a lot of makeup or straightening your hair. Because if you don't have curly hair now, you will definitely have curly hair when you leave Texas.
Oh, that'd be cool.
We got humidity in New York. I don't know that humidity affects your hair that much, does it, Nicole? Because we've had horrifically humid.
Oh, then you'll get real frizzy.
Yeah,
I get frizzy on top, but then I get like really greasy, scraggly on the bottom. So I get like the worst of both.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That's why I keep it short now.
Yes, which I wanted to talk to you about because I love your hair. I've had short hair for a long time. I just recently, this is the longest it's been since like high school. But seeing yours, something I've always said, but I very much want to like shave all of this all the way around. I feel it looks so cool.
Come to Texas and I'll do it for you. We can auction off your shaved head to a charity. Like Give Kids the World. We could raise money for Give Kids the World and then shave your head in Texas, and you and I can do it together, and I'll go bald, and then we'll shave your head. Well, not the whole head, but parts of it. And then give the money and donate the hair to Locks of Love. Look at that. 2 charities. Well,
that's what I was going to ask. Does the hair go to like Locks of Love, or is it like people, like random people that have like petri dishes where they want to clone me, like here's her hair?
No. Let's give your hair away. I'm not you, and it's not a consensual thing yet, but we could totally put your hair in, like Wigs for Kids is really big. They have an office in town. We could take your hair to Wigs for Kids. It would be awesome. And you have long, beautiful hair, and there's so much of it. You could get like 2 wigs out of just shaving the bottom of it. It'd be awesome.
What? Let's do it.
Rad.
I'm inspired.
Yes.
I'm inspired.
I hope you do it. I love Locks for Love. I think that's a great, I know many people who have done that, and I think you should. That's wonderful.
I love that. And I've had it shaved on the side when it was the same length as yours. And I always said when it gets really long, I want to do it. And I feel like I should just do it and see how it would look.
It's going to look awesome. Your length is my goal length in like 5 years. It'll get there one day.
Yeah.
But
we're going to be twins.
It's going to be awesome. Yeah, twins.
I can't wait. I want to see this. I want to see it. Let's do it.
And then we can shave Eric's head.
No. No.
Okay.
No.
We can buy you a wig.
Yes.
That'd be cool. Like blonde.
What if we just took your hair and made a wig for me?
Ew.
That's creepy. That's like Silence of the Lambs creepy. I don't know.
So you don't want to travel with me to Texas, but you'll take.
I'll wear your hair.
I don't know.
No, that is very creepy.
I would only show this one.
I agree. Very, very, very creepy. Yeah, that is, I think that's a good idea. I think you guys should do that. Do you like Nicole's hair better black or red?
What color are we going now? Because in my screen, it looks kind of like brunette-ish with a red tinge. And then as it goes farther down near her like shoulders and neckline, it's black. So like this ombre effect, I'm really digging. But I think that with her eyes, she should stay dark. Okay. Because I think it makes them pop more blue, and I don't know if they're blue in real life or like a green hazel color. But the dark makes her green. They pop. Oh yeah, like you get closer into the light. Yeah, I think the black looks just like super sexy all around the frame of the face with your eyeballs. I'm not hitting on you, I promise.
Thank you. I'm so flattered, though.
Well,
I like the dark.
I am definitely not hitting on you, and we all know that I am team red. I think I don't care for the black.
Well, news announcement. This is like I did the black back in like October, November, so I haven't dyed it since. So it's like half washed out. That's why it's like red, brown, black. But the next one I'm doing, I just purchased the box dye, is a black green, so like an emerald.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna dump it on and see how it comes out. It's gonna be like a dark, dark green, and we'll see.
I'm about it. I love it. I think that'll look great. And the ombre, the way that it'll come down with the dark already at your roots, I think it's gonna look awesome.
Thank you. See, Alicia gets me. I feel very inspired. Eric's not feeling the green, but you are, and thank you.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's gonna look great.
Yeah, I think I don't really understand the green part, but if it is green, I can't wait too. I hope I get to do a lot of stuff to your head with the green screen.
Oh, is that going to interfere with that? No. I don't. Oh, shit.
But, I mean, if you sit close enough to the camera, maybe it won't.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh,
or
no.
not. It's great.
Okay.
I've always wanted to give you snakes for hair, so this will be fun.
You're so horrible to me. They have makeup shows like that. Like, what's it called? The one with, they do
Like
the makeup.
FX one?
Yeah.
The FX one. Look, I don't want to talk about the FX one. I want to
this is
talk
where I'm
about
going
Nailed It.
Yeah, well, this is where I'm going with it. That was my segue. It was a segue from that. I can't think Face Off into shows. And
Let's
my segue
do
was
it.
like a show like Nailed It, and that experience, which Eric loves the host. My sister's obsessed with the host. My sister, Alicia, you know this, my sister's obsessed with you. You were the only episode I've ever really watched of Nailed It, because my sister was like, watch this show, I love it. I know which episode to show you, this one. And I was like, okay, and it was yours.
Yeah, that's actually a really wild thing, because I think you had posted a cake that when you finally got social media, I was probably one of the first people that was like, oh, Kira, Nicole Anthony actually got a social media follow. And you posted a picture of baking something, and you had said Nailed It on it. And I think my very first message to you was, from one Nailed It contestant to another home baker, you absolutely nailed it. And then I got like this slew of love, and especially from your sister. And I was like, oh shit. Wow. Okay. Well, like the love is very, very mutual. Like conversations at 2 a.m. together in camera land that you didn't hear me say anything back to you, but there was this connection. And then Nailed It happened. And I was like, oh, damn, that's wild. Like we both know each other's name. That's amazing. That's the world.
It's so true.
Nailed it away. Like, hit me. Give me all the cake. What do you want? Spill the ice.
Go ahead, Eric.
No, I was gonna say the problem is not when she knows your name. The problem is not when she doesn't know your name. It's when she does know your name, because then she's gonna be like, "Are we gonna go to Texas together? What color should I dye my hair? Can I dye my hair green? What are we gonna eat? When are we gonna go here? The new Harry Potter store's open. Do you want to go? Let's go to New York City. Let's travel over here." Then she knows your name, and you can't get away.
You're right. We have to go.
All right, well, then you two go. I think you need to move to New York. I really thought that when Nicole got a boyfriend, there was going to be some sort of a burden lifted off of me. Seems not the case. So apparently we need more people that like to do these things with her.
Yes.
So we can move up here. I'd appreciate it.
Clearly he's cool with sharing. So I like a man who's strong enough to know that his girlfriend can be hanging out with other people and doing fun things. And
yes,
that's
please.
Awesome.
Yeah, and he's not a big fan of Harry Potter, so I need to try to convert other people to do Harry Potter things with.
I'm all about it. Let's do it.
Yes.
Deal.
I Nailed It is the one show, and I literally mean the one show that my hubs and I watch together.
Aww.
He does not watch television. And obviously I cover reality TV, so there's that. However, one day I had nailed it on for something and he actually liked it, and then ever since it is the one show that we actually watch together. So I'm just such a big fan of Nailed It. Now, for I guess how would we I feel like it's self-explanatory, but for people that may not know, Nailed It is a show where they take this insanely elaborative, decorative piece of, baked goods, And then they take people that want to be good bakers, but might not necessarily be great bakers, and they tell them to create it in 1/10 the time it took them to make the elaborate, beautiful version. And then hilarity ensues when you look at the perfect version versus their made version that they had 40 minutes to make, and it's sliding off the plate and melting, and that's nailed it.
So I will give one truth to your myth away. Chef Charity makes all of those cakes in the allotted time that they are giving their contestants.
I don't believe it for a second.
Yeah, straight up. She is a phenomenal baker who puts her heart and soul into Nailed It. And I accidentally went into the back kitchen and I got to wave at her and say hi while she was making the New Year's Eve cake. And for my season, and she literally makes everything, all of the baker's choices and the final round. All of those are made within the allotted time that you are given as a contestant, because they know that it can be done by a professional, of course, but she does them in my instance, in my case, my cake at the end was 70 minutes and she did that in 70 minutes. But you have to remember that they have blast chillers and tens of they have 3 dozen mixers on hand. So when she's baking, she has everything available to her at any moment. So she can have 3 icings going, 2 cake batters, 5 pans prepped, and things in the blast chiller and the oven. And then when she takes them all out and puts them all together, I mean, she's a professional. So she's rolling fondant out quicker than you can even spell the word fondant. And I'm not a good speller, so it would take me forever.
Here's the thing. So here's what it's going to take to convince me. And I think that's great. However, I used to also do this. I used to work for a company, a baking company, and my job was to produce commercials and tutorials of people baking the cakes and all the stuff that they do on Nailed It. So, and then I know the way reality TV works. So here's what I'm going to say, Nailed It people. Here's what I want to say. I want to see when the challenges start, right? I want that professional baker in the middle. Let's just do 2 people. I want the professional person in the middle. Forget about giving us the example. No. I want professional baker in the middle, the 2 people on the sides, and then we'll base it off of the one in the middle if it can be done in time. Then I'll believe it.
Wow. I love it. I think that's an awesome challenge. And you can go to Chef Charity's Instagram, and she gave an interview and she's talked about it. So, and she's a very wholesome lady, so I trust her. I think she's a really great woman and does a lot of great baking. And I think they're right. I think she's done them in 90 minutes. Most of the final challenges are between 70 and 90 minutes. And what you don't see, right, is all the editing, because we know how reality TV works. Yes. They're those moments that are edited down to 31 minutes. There's so much going on that I know now, if I had a blast chiller in my house, I could make some of these cakes that I make at my house in an hour and a half. I just don't have the equipment to cool down a 350 degree cake in 15 minutes or even 5 minutes. And so when you have that ability to move things around like that and change science, I truly think it can be done a lot quicker if we're given the right tools and if we know how to utilize them correctly.
I'm sure that they can.
I think that would be the thing I would struggle with the most is if they put a recipe in front of me, I'd okay, I could do this, and mine would be time management. I wouldn't realize I'd be working on baking one cake. I wouldn't think, I should be prepping the icing, or I should be also prepping this. That's where I'd get into trouble. Is they'd be 5 minutes left, and I'd be wait, what? I didn't bake half the stuff. Is that really hard to keep up with the time?
So yes and no. I don't want to toot my own horn and be it wasn't that stressful, but I have a different frame of reference, right? So I come from a reference of being in the Marine Corps where everything is now. True. Hurry up and wait. So the mantra of the Marine Corps or any Department of Defense job is hurry up and wait. You get there, and then you wait until everything else is done. So for me, time management was not a problem, but I was coming off of having a brain injury. So I was already combating other issues when it came to being back in that kitchen. And what the world doesn't know, so here's a spoiler, I was released from my doctor to go on Nailed It only because my neurological team knew that there would be at least 20 people on set. So if something were to happen to me, I would be okay. So I'm released the day before filming to go film in Burbank to do this amazing experience. And I'm having to combat the fact that I have a stutter. I have a hard time reading because at that time I was reading at a 4th grade reading level because my brain was still trying to rewire itself. And I'm competing against 2 other people who, to my knowledge, do not have a neuro deficit. So I had the clock, which wasn't a big deal for me. But what was more of a struggle for me at my station was being able to remember the items that I had to get from the kitchen off of the recipe deck in the digital device that gives you the recipe deck. So if you go back and watch my episode, I am constantly talking to myself in like a sing-song format so I can remember those things. It wasn't time. I actually remember looking up at the clock. There's a huge timer, like it's just massive in the studio. And it's like ticking down. It's ticking down from the hour to the minute to the second. And it's just spin. And I looked up and I thought, oh, I still have 15 minutes and I'm almost done. I thought, wow, I can't believe I actually accomplished this. And now I'm putting fondant on a cake, which, by the way, is the hardest effing thing anybody can do. Really? Fondant is the devil. And it wasn't time management. It was really remembering to make sure that I got all the ingredients in. And what you also don't see on the episode is I hit my panic button.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. And I think I'm allowed to talk about it. I wasn't told I'm not allowed to, but I hit my panic button and Jacques came over and he was so gracious. But there was a moment where I think he saw that my brain just went poof out of nowhere. I just kind of went blank. And I think that's probably why Nailed It didn't like post it or put it in the footage, because there's probably a very scared moment for me. But there was a moment where my brain just went blank. I couldn't remember how to make red velvet cake. And I didn't make it from the boxed ingredients. I didn't realize that behind my station, there were all the ingredients of things pre-mixed that you could just dump in and then finish out the recipe. And so I made all of this cake by hand and I couldn't remember how to turn it red. And Jacques came over and walked me through that process of turning it red. And it's just food gel, like dye gel. And I couldn't figure it out. And when I finally got there, I thought, I'm done. There's no way I'm going to beat this clock. Like the clock is going to win. But by the time I put my fondant on, I still had about 15 minutes of making it look as pretty as possible, which my robot cake, you know, Robby's not the prettiest thing in the world, but he's mine and I love him. But time management was not an issue. It was really remembering how to do what I was doing, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. And that's, first of all, thank you immensely for your service. That's absolutely incredible. And
thank you. Being
an inspiration going on the show the day after, like I don't know many, if at all, people that would do that. All I know is I give you a lot of credit because me alone, I can't remember things. And then if you have a giant clock ticking, I would be sweating. I would be dropping things. I start panicking and things are spilling. I'd be like, how many panic buttons do I get? help. I'd be trying to click it every 5 minutes.
I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what I am a very first of all, I don't have, any sort of neurological issue, but yet I cannot remember yesterday. So I'm really worried for me when I get older, like when it comes to that. I can't imagine. I give you so much credit for doing a show like that because I know I wouldn't be able to. Like, I 100% know I would not survive those. I wouldn't be able to remember things. Then you're throwing in a clock and a timer that I'm working against and all. There's absolutely no way. However, I will say that I was able to find the robot.
That's not me. That's not mine, but
no, that's not yours. That is the robot that it was supposed to be.
Yes.
Oh no.
There
Oh,
it
Robby!
Oh, he's cute.
If you watch the episode, Ron Funches called him a cute old-timey cash register-like thing.
Yes.
I like him. I like his little feet. I'm not really sure what's happening, on his head, but his little feet are cute, and the general shape is there.
Thanks. He
It
was
is.
a lot of fun.
It was. Go ahead, Nicole.
I was just saying, like, it's interesting how different things affect different people. Like, yours, like you said, was remembering, or Eric, you said you would be remembering. Mine would be anxiety with the clock ticking. And I always think of an episode of MasterChef when they had to make macaroons. Is that how you pronounce it? Macaroon, like the rainbow ones. And they had to fit them in a box. And I always think of this one guy that he got them all lined up in the box, and it was either you're supposed to fit 12. So either fit 11 and it would have closed perfectly, or shove in a 12th one. And he was like, I'm fed up. And he had like 2 seconds left. So he shoved in the 12th one. He smashed the box shut because he was so mad. And it broke all of them. And I remember Gordon being like, listen, you should have just presented me 11 perfect ones as opposed to getting angry. But again, it just shows how different people cope. And he was somebody who, in that moment, the anxiety and the anger of the clock. So that's what I find interesting with those type shows is some people, it's I can't remember the ingredients. Other people, it's this giant clock is freaking me out. Other people compare themselves to like, oh, how far is that person? Like, that's where I would struggle too. I'd be like, oh, that girl has her cake done. Damn it. So it's just interesting, like the psychological aspect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot going on. I mean, the world saw me break down, and whenever there's a new Nailed It season that pops on, I always know because people start rewatching it or watching it for the first time, and my DMs just fill up every, March and Christmas time. So spring and winter. And there's this moment when like the world thought that I was overwhelmed and that I was struggling just being in the kitchen. But that moment that I break down in the kitchen and Nicole gives me a hug, which by the way was, people think it was pushed, and someone talked trash about me on a couple podcasts and said that was a pushed moment by the production and that the producers told Nicole to do that. But that's not what happened. Nicole freely gave me a hug, because what the world didn't see was that moment is about my mom, and my mom died of a stroke just a month before the Nailed It episode aired. So she never got to see. And Jacques Torres is one of my mom's like favorite chefs. And so she never even knew that I was on Nailed It. So when I presented Robby, and I started like, I'm going to cry right now. When I presented my cake and I got to share why I was on the show and what I would do if I won the money, I got really emotional because my mom would never know that I was on Nailed It. My mom would never know that. She knows now, right? Like, and I know that, and I know that there's a part of her that is so very proud of me, but Nicole's lost both of her parents. And at that time I had lost my dad and my stepdad, and I was about to lose my mom, effectively becoming a 32-year-old orphan, right? And so what the world sees as a breakdown of pride is real, but the emotion that came from that hug is not because I was terrified of running out of time or that my cake froze. It was because I was in a moment of my life that I proved to my neurologist that I can do this. My brain is getting better. And I was in the darkest place during my brain injury when I found the first season of Nailed It. And the love of that kitchen and the support of the contestants that I was with, and just being able to provide something that I completed for the first time in a year, that was so overwhelming that I didn't get to share that with my mom, but I got to share with them that like, this is a big moment, and all I want to do is share it with the woman who taught me how to bake. And I couldn't do that. And I couldn't tell her because her brain could have been a liability, and you're signed to an NDA. You can't talk about anything. So how do you share the one thing you are most proud of with the woman who taught you how to bake, but is also struggling with her own neurological issues right now? And so when I broke down and Nicole gave me that hug, like that hug was felt all around the world. And I still get DMs to this day when people see the episode that like it's changed their lives. It's saved their lives. It showed them what humanity can really be in reality television. But
Yes.
it wasn't because I was afraid of the show, and it wasn't because my cake was ugly. It was truly because Alicia, overcame something so terrifying that I could do it, and I could do anything. And I've proven that time and time again post show. But that hug was felt and heard around the world, and it was real. And for all you naysayers out there, that was not pushed. Makes me so angry that people would even talk about
It's
human
ridiculous.
connection that way. But time management for some is hard. But for a lot of other people, I think it's the fear of I'm not good enough. But
Yeah, I hear
everybody
that.
in that kitchen is like, you get built up so much, and you see the funny stuff on the
Yes.
episode, but in all reality, Jacques and Nicole, the whole entire production team, and the guest judge, they are just so sweet, and they build everybody up and make you feel like you can really do anything you put your mind to. It might just take a while to perfect it. And that's really what I think Nailed It is truly about. And I know I've gotten kind of tangential, but
No, I love it.
everybody thinks it's time management. Everybody thinks that it's nerves or being a crappy baker. But at the end of the day, it's really about humans looking at something that they don't think they're good enough at doing and producing something that looks funny and makes us all giggle. But then you're told by a world-renowned chef that you can bake. Your decorating skills just need some help, or
Yeah.
you've got all the mechanics. You just need to make a little bit more time for yourself and finesse those things. And I mean, to this day, like, Jacques still will comment on my face or on my Instagram. And so, like, it's so different when you're out of the screen. And I'm sure both of you understand that. But the love that comes from both Jacques and Nicole in that really high pressure boiling area is just, it's amazing.
I have to honestly say that Nicole Byers is one of my favorite people ever. I've liked her as a comedian before.
Yeah, me too.
Nailed it. I don't know that noise canceling won't ruin it, but I walk around my house all the time and I'll be like, "Where's?" Just like that. Like I've nailed that. And I have a crush on Wes, and I love Jacques too. What's not to love? I agree. It's perfect. I can see why it becomes like a family, and I love that you're saying he still like comments on your stuff and interacts with you. That must very much make it feel more like a family versus you're just a
Done. Yep.
episode on a show.
Absolutely. And I think, I mean, it's not as big as Big Brother or Big Brother Canada, or Road Rules and all these other things that I grew up watching.
I don't know
but
about that.
the Nailed It family, you can go back through my Instagram and my Facebook and all of my other socials, and you can see that whenever the Grammys or the Emmys or a big award show comes up or Nailed It has a season premiere, the Nailed It family, we call it Nailed It Cousins, and we all get together and we bake and we do live streaming challenges with each other. And then we have people vote on who baked the best thing. And we have individuals who will ask us to bake things. And so we've become this really cool family of misfit bakers from season 1 all the way until not this last season, because they didn't put their last names. So if any of you are watching this, please reach out to us because we can't find you. Up until this last season, we have people in our group chat from every season, from the beginning to each holiday season and season 4. So we are a big family. We talk. There's been babies that have been born post Nailed It. So that's been pretty cool. We've had people get sick with COVID and we all supported each other through it. So it's phenomenal. Nailed It changed my life and gave me a group of ragtag misfit bakers that I can lean on for almost anything. And they're always there to give me a good smile. Sal from season 1, the cop who burnt chocolate chips in the microwave, has become like my pseudo dad. Like, I love him. He checks in on me almost monthly and sometimes every day. Like, it's awesome. And it's become a really cool family. Nailed It is truly the greatest show on Netflix.
Listen, I want to go on it now. Like, I always say, like, I want to go on Dancing with the Stars for the process. Like, you learn about yourself, you become confident, you work through emotions when they force you to think of, like, what's your most pivotal year, what's your saddest memory. Like, it forces you to grow. And from what you're talking about, I never viewed Nailed It that way, like, to that extent. And it is very true. Like, it forces you to create something. And if you are a perfectionist who's used to taking 20 hours and redo it, and you're forced to make it and present it, but still be proud of it, like, that must, like you're saying, it is a very moving thing. And I would love to experience that. And I would love to experience the camaraderie with, like, the cast, because you guys are hanging out with friends. Like, I love that. I love to hear that Nailed It is such a positive environment and a positive experience. I feel like we don't hear about that a lot in reality TV. So I love that. Damn.
100%. I think, I would love to see you do that show. I think it would be absolutely hysterical.
I agree.
Because I do not think that you would do well at all, which would be great. I say that as somebody who has done faux-ish baking challenges with Nicole. I think it would be TV gold. And then you could tell me all about Wes.
He's funny and he's great, and I think you would giggle. He actually, I'm sure I'm not supposed to tell this either, but whatever. He cut my cake for me because I couldn't do it. I could not get, I'm just too short, and the thing that you put it on, the box, they built this really elaborate box, and it's very tall. So, like, you have a short person leaning over trying to, like, cut it this way. So he came over and cut my cake for me, and he's like, you can't do it, really? And I was like, I'm trying. He's like, we got to get it cut. We only have a few minutes. And I was like, I can't. And so he came over and he helped me, and he was so sweet. He's like, okay, now you have to finish the last spot for the photo. I was like, okay. I'm like getting it through. But he's so kind.
Yeah,
I love it.
He seems it. I love it. I love hearing. It's just so rare that you get to hear good stories about a show that you like versus horror stories. And I would also say, I don't know that I would say Nailed It isn't as popular as some more of the mainstream basic cable type of shows at all, because in a way I would say Nailed It has made it into pop culture, where I think you could say, have you heard of Nailed It, to most people, and they would probably be like, yes. And I think Netflix, if you said, do you know what Big Brother is, to most people, or The Challenge, people go, I don't know, maybe a show. So I don't know. I think it is a lot more popular than, you give it credit. Because look, there are tons of people that play Big Brother that are not getting DMs every time a new season comes on the TV. So I think Nailed It is very popular, actually.
I've never thought about it that way. It's really cool how cross-culturally Nailed It has found its way into the homes of everyday Americans and everyday people around the world. So it's become very global because Nailed It is in, I think, 147 countries. Everywhere that Netflix is available, Nailed It is there.
Wow.
And I have done interviews with people in Germany and Indonesia, and it's like, wow, like, you really know this show, the people who were baking, things about my life that I didn't even know about because you Googled real deep, but damn. So I've never thought about it that way. I just always think that it's a funny 32-minute show that they squeeze a lot of humor into, but bigger, like, shows that are on bigger networks or longer seasons have just so much more growth to them. So I've never thought of Nailed It as being this staple, but the more I listen to the two of you talk about it, I definitely understand that it's on the pin board and it's probably going to be there forever. It's going to be, and they keep getting nominated for awards. There's a new nomination just this week. And so it was really cool that, like, our season was the first, holiday season was the season that got Nicole Byer and Nailed It nominated for an Emmy. So that was really cool. We all were talking with cast and crew and a few other people about, hey, I'm Alicia Figliuolo, Emmy nominated for Nailed It. Ha 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 ha.
No, I agree with both of you, like what you're saying as well, because yeah, with like the challenge, it's either people know it and have known it forever, or like, oh, I don't think I know it. Big Brother, it's either you watch it religiously, or you're like, oh, I don't really think I know that. I think Survivor and Amazing Race are kind of in a different category, and I would put Nailed It in there with it. Where if you say to somebody, "Have you ever heard of Survivor?" "Oh yeah, I know of it." "Do you know Nailed It?" "Oh yeah, I've seen it on Netflix." So I do think it maybe doesn't have that like oomph of the people that are like die hard, I follow every season of the challenge, but I think it does have more of an umbrella that's broad, where young to old, oh yeah, I've watched at least an episode, I know what it is. So I do think it's definitely, I like that phrase, on the pin board. I never heard that. It's on the pin board.
It's on the pin board. Do you know what makes me sad though, Nicole?
What?
Is that we have to put this show on the pin board now.
Oh.
I never know where an hour goes when we do this show, because it just feels like talking with friends. But that is the point of the show.
And I do have another question, so we're not ending.
Okay, let's go. What's your final question, Nicole?
My final question in several parts is, Alicia, would you be interested in doing, because I know, like, you know, you talk about dance, would you be interested in doing like Dancing with the Stars or The Masked Dancer or The Masked Singer? Are those things that you would like to do?
Yeah, I would go on The Masked. I can't go on The Masked Singer because I sound like a feral cat in heat when I sing. But if I could be taught to sing, sure. I would go on The Masked Dancer. I can cut a rug. Would I go on to try and win the Mirror Ball? Yes, but not in its new format. I'm very bitter by the change up, so I don't think I would do it now.
I got that.
But there are some things that I would like to find myself in for a while.
And what's that?
So, oh God, it's so weird to like be asked, but I am probably one of the biggest BB super fans, and I've watched it since season 1. And my mom and I are like big voyeurs, and so in a non-sexual way, people, come on, don't think that. I'm a big voyeur, and I logged probably 500 hours a summer in live feeds. So I spend a lot of time with those people, and they don't know me, but I sure as know them. I know all of their body movements, their bowel movements, everything, because I'm a big fan. I have my goal, my mom and I's goal when I was 28 were to audition together for BB and be kind of a Danny and Evil duo, but not letting people know that we knew each other because we don't look anything alike. And so like I've put my hat in the race for BB, let's just say that, more times than I should ever admit. But that is something that I would love to do. But I also would really love to do like a Master Chef where I sit and, you know, being a home cook and really hone those skills. But I'm a social person. And so I would want to be in a place where I get to be my authentic social self. Yeah. And after COVID, I know like I cannot be alone. I can't do things alone. But maybe I could do the circle because it's like communication via like this. Yeah, I could do this, like typing. So that's one part of your multifold question. What's the next one?
Oh, I got distracted. I think my next question was going to be more so about Big Brother, which now you said you were interested in, and I could see you doing well, but I'd be way too protective if you were in there. But the circle, I do think you would do well because, you know, you say a lot of people do reach out to you, and I know the interactions we have had, you're very just authentic and genuine, and it comes across in the way you speak via like writing, and I think that would very much be in your favor in an environment like the circle. But that's good to know. I'd love to see you on BB. My last thing, unless Eric wanted to interject.
I was just fascinated. I first of all, I want to have you back because there's a lot of other things that I definitely want to talk to you about, from mental health to other things. But again, we're horrible. We don't like drill into specific topic. We try to make these shows just be like, this is, you're listening to a conversation with friends. But I was going to say, do you watch Big Brother Canada then?
Not this season, only because I didn't pay for the VPN and I am trying to finish grad school. So, and I created a curriculum for therapeutic Dungeons and Dragons. And so, I'm very, very, I'm not overextended, but I couldn't pour into watching BB Can only because I don't have time. So I did not. I've been catching the recap with y'all and then watching some things on Twitter when they get posted. So
I just have to say it's probably been one of the best seasons of Big Brother US or Canada that I have seen in the past easily 10 years.
I know we have to go, but it'll be quick. Do you think it's because it's post-COVID and people have had a moment to reset and like just learn about each other? Or do you think it's like we're going balls to the wall and I want to win the money?
I think it's three things. Number one, I think the show being canceled last season because of COVID, I feel like if I had to guess, the cast was kind of given like a pep talk pre-season to the extent of, we got a second chance to come back. The future seasons of Big Brother depend on how well you all perform and do this season. So I think probably some sort of pep talk had something to do with it. I also think this is the first season that we have had a diverse cast, multiple, gay, lesbian, transgender people on. Definitely the first season we'd have more people of color from different ethnicities making up, they say more than half the cast. I would say more than 70% of the cast.
That's huge.
I think those things had a lot to do with it. And then let's say we push all that aside. It's just then that it's week after week of people making power moves. It's none of the, I'm going to go after the easy person because there's no blood on my hands. Everybody's like, main biggest threat going for you. They miss next. It's just been amazing.
And I would say it's not, I would argue, not, because of COVID, everybody's reset and is really thinking. I would almost argue COVID made people more self-centered and antisocial. So I think it's like, well, I've been in my house with myself. I know how I think. I don't give a fuck about y'all. And that's why they're also screw you over. Like, I think COVID made people less cognizant of other people's feelings, which made them more like relentless, but not like in a horrible way. They're not like mean people, but just like in a way of like, you need to go now. It's time for you to go. Like they're more objective. That's how I'll word it.
Yeah, I don't know what show you're watching.
Damn. I just want to talk. I want to talk forever. And I wish that like I log in whenever you guys pop up on my Twitch. I listen to you while I'm baking, like you were saying earlier, while you're baking or cooking. I do that. But that's so interesting because I hope that it shows BB US that you need to put in diverse people who don't all look like the great American soccer star or great American wrestler, because that is not a reflection of the United States. And I wish we see more people of color, more religious, ethnic backgrounds.
Yes. Yep.
Like I get asked all the time, like I'm not a very religious person, but my heritage is Jewish. Like, what would you do going into a house like that? With like the Bible is the biggest book around. And I would say I need to have something that is Jewish, whether it's the Torah or another book like the Talmud, and being able to read those things.
They do that.
But
they offer it. Yes.
That's great that they offer it. But outside of Kaser, we don't see a lot of true, the very deep rooted individual who is going to be who they are. And I hope that with BB Can, that watching the cast come back and be as diverse as they are, that the United States does that, because it's imperative for a iconic show to grow in this culture that we have now created and we need to be better of. So I hope and I pray that change happens after they've seen what success can look like. If you're both saying it's that great, like that seems to be successful in and of itself, and we need to be emulating that and not just mimicking it, but doing it better. And I'm not here, like I'm not trashing on CBS or casting or anything, but we have to get away from that. And I think Nailed It has done that. And to end, like coming full circle, Nailed It has become this show where children can watch it and see themselves. And I want to end with a moment of a young boy saw me on Nailed It, and he is autistic so far that he is nonverbal and he cannot sit still. My episode aired and his mom turned it on, and they've watched every season of Nailed It up until Holiday season 1. they turned it on and it's just background noise for the little boy. He sat down in front of the TV and pointed at me over and over and over again. And his mother reached out to me via Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to find out where I was. And I'm the only Alicia Figliuolo on all the socials, so it wasn't that hard. But she said, I know this is weird, but I need you to know that you are reaching children who cannot speak and cannot sit still because they're on the autism spectrum, and your kindness is showing through. And for the first time, my little boy looked at the TV and said, Mommy, she's like me. And he doesn't talk about anybody on TV. And that broke me to my core, because casting needs to bring more neurodivergent people with all types of abilities and disabilities. And there has only been one break in that in BB US, and we've had a transgender woman on the show. We've had an individual who had a pump and has had to take, who's had I think IBS or a colon issue, right? I think it was Rockstar maybe had TBS.
Raven
or IBS. No, Raven did.
Raven.
Right, Raven
Yes.
did.
Yep.
But that was the first time I looked at TV and saw that, holy shit, and pardon my French, but wow, I cannot believe that casting actually took that leap of faith. And I think we need to do that more. And Nailed It has done that so beautifully with people of all types of abilities. And they have done it in a way that says you can do anything you put your mind to. And I believe wholeheartedly that anybody who moves into a house like that or into a flat like in the Circle, you can have any type of ability, whether it be a social disability or a physical disability or a mental disability, and you can still kick butt in a game that people think that you're not going to be good for. And I hope that with BB Canada's casting, whether or not it's ability, disability, racial, religious, that sexuality, that damn, this is something that can be done. And I'm sad that I've missed the season. I'm sad I didn't update for the season and that I've missed it. So damn.
But you can watch it back and maybe join us post-season or in a future season, because like Eric was saying too, we definitely want to have you back because we want to get into so much of what you're doing with Dungeons and Dragons and mental health and reality TV. And there's so much. So there'll be a part 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5, but absolute pleasure. Everything you're saying, you are, like I said, such a genuine, authentic person. And when you speak, people freaking listen because it comes from such a place of authenticity. Mm-hmm. You're relatable. Like I said, you're genuine. And it's been a pleasure getting to know you in the real world, even though we never met in person, but it's even more of a pleasure actually speaking to you face to face. And that's my rant.
Of course, it means a lot. Of course, we're going to put the links to all your socials below this video, but tell people who are listening to the audio version, where do you want them to follow you on social media?
You can follow my baking and my everyday life at Alicia Figliuolo for Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you are a sober curious person or person who's looking to drink differently and more mindfully, you can find me on Instagram at the Sober Vet, where I speak all things fun mocktail, non-alcoholic beers, spirits, and wines. And if you're just interested about what the non-alcoholic world looks like, please come follow me there or at any of the other places.
I love it. All right, we have so much more to get into. As Nicole said, this is only a part 1. Yeah. I'm sure
we've only just begun.
We've only just begun, yes. But we will have you back to get into those topics and so much more. Until tomorrow night's Big Brother Canada show. It's gonna be shocking. We will see you all then. Bye for now, everybody.
Bye, friends.